My name is Yolanda Campominosi. I was born March 24th, 1919 on 24 Grove Street. And from there we moved. It was just two rooms, a kitchen and a bedroom my mother and father had. So they moved into one of my uncle's back apartments, just in the back. It belonged to...
Was that still on Grove Street?
On Grove Street.
Uh-huh.
We stayed there. There were 4 rooms, 2 down and 2 up. And then my mother had a boy, and we stayed there. I think I left when I was 16. My mother figured 2 bedrooms, a boy and a girl in the same room. You know, they figured it was time to split. Yeah. So they bought one of the homes over on Church Street, which is 28 Church Street, which was a metal cot house from the metal cot company down on the canal bank, that they made men's underwear, and quite a few people in town, and they bought that house. It's just it still remains. It's 2 houses below the Union School on that side. Yep. That long block that Frankie Prully owns.
Yep.
Then that was our house. Nice home. We stayed there, and I got married from there.
And where did you go to school?
I went to St. Mary's for 1st and 2nd grade, but then we moved from Grove Street to Church Street, and my mother thought, well, why go to St. Mary's when there's the school too? There was a house between us and the school,
right.
Union School, and I graduated from Union School, grammar school. Then I went to Windsor Locks High.
Was that right up there on Church Street?
That
also?
was right next to the grammar school,
okay.
Union School.
Yep.
There was a big, tall building with stairs, you could see, and that was Windsor Locks High. But then the town got bigger. They built the high school in the back, which is now.
Mm-hmm. Now it's a middle school.
Now it's the middle school,
right.
And then they built Windsor Locks High over up on what street is it?
South Elm.
Yeah, no, but the first high school was in right next to Union School, but it wasn't big enough to hold us all, so that's when they built that. Where the town hall is was Windsor Locks High.
Okay, and you graduated in you were born in 1919.
1919.
And you graduated when? What year? 18 years later?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what else can I tell you?
Were you working when you were a young woman? Did you work?
Yeah. Well, the war was just beginning, and I got a job at Hartford. I worked at the Arrow Hart Hegerman in Hartford. But then it was a ranch down on Broad Street, and we made switches. And I worked in a department that I worked on relays, small relays, in an air-conditioned room, and I tested them. And you tested them 3 times, and if they came right 3 times, then you would, with a little pen, you would carve into the metal in the back your initials. And the boss would say to you, I think he'd try to put a scare into it, he'd say, don't forget, you girls, because they're testing these switches. They're going on bombers. They were as big as a pack of cigarettes, a relay. And we put them into this machine, and it was Baker, and we pushed them into this machine, and we test them 3 times. They came out 3 times. That's when you signed them. There were about 48 in a tray, and they would go off to some fellows, and they'd test them. But they were all little switches, not very big. They went on bombers. And I worked there all during the war.
Now, when
nice
you-
clean job. And air conditioned, we had to work in the air conditioning. The temperature had to be at the same degree all the time. We go in and that's what it was, winter and summer.
Okay. How did you get there when you went to Harvard?
Oh,
By the bus or the train?
no, it was hard. I rode with in a car. Freddie Francia from Whiten Street drove, and there were 6 or 7 of us. It was hard. Either you had to go down on the train early in the morning. They worked there. They drop you off, and then they pick you up at night, and you paid them weekly. And that's when everything was booming. The Hartford, the aircraft was over in East Hartford. There was Arrow, Hart, and Hegerman. There was Hartford Machine and Screw. They made the screws. All the factories were in that vicinity, and we were the workers during the Second World War. Rosie the Riveter, we were called. Remember they used to call us?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, as you were growing up in town, you were just telling me a couple of minutes ago that you used to go swimming up at the basin, and you'd walk up the railroad tracks. Can you tell us a little bit?
Walk up the railroad tracks. Well, it was shorter to go that way because otherwise you had to go up North Main Street out onto
Fairview.
what's that street that crosses from North Main to where the VFW is?
Fairview.
Fairview Street. And that was this was shorter. You'd get there quicker, but it was hot. And then the danger of you'd walk along up the train. Well, we never met the trains too many times, but it was, But we'd go up, we'd go, and the basin, it was a dirty, muddy water, But we didn't have a pool. They had a pool, and I told you that Silk Boy, I can't remember, he climbed the gate, I remember, and he got in and he went in swimming, and he drowned. They closed it up for a long time. We didn't have a pool in town for a long time. Then they built the pool that's in the park now that they still use. They did that a long time after I grew up.
Where was the first pool? The one where he climbed over the fence?
Down on Center Street in the
hollow there?
In the hollow, and then they used to skate there in the winter.
Eagle Scouts used to dam it up and freeze it.
Well, I don't know what they did. As
Yeah.
I grew up, I didn't care.
It was an ice skating.
But
Yeah.
my mother, you want to laugh? I said the metal cut downtown. They used to make men's underwear out of wool.
Yeah.
They had men cutting it, and then the girls used to sew them and all. And she got a piece of wool, and she made me a bathing suit to go swimming. Well, it was off-white, tan, Well, when you went in that water, you brought it home, it turned brown. It was a mud hole.
Yeah.
And Alan Pease, that lived down here, he was going to college, I think, and he got that. He was a lifeguard, and he was a lifeguard. He'd open up about 1 o'clock, it was locked. You didn't pay anything. There was a swimming pool. I think they built, unless if they threw it down, there was a swimming pool. You had, girls' side and the boys' side. You go in and change your clothes and put your baby. But it was dirty, muddy water. I don't know how we never got sick. Well, a polio broke out that year. A couple of kids in town, and they thought maybe,
Now, right up towards Main Street where that swimming pool was
That's the other pool they built. They pulled it up right where the park is, and they played baseball. They still use that pool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But you grow older, and you don't care. There was a nice pavilion in the town, and this is going back. John Oates, Frankie Devlin, I don't know, fellas that all played instruments started a band. And they used to have, I don't know if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, they'd let the sides down on the pavilion, and they'd dance. And they used to have a band, and they'd dance.
Up in the park?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But then, those fellas were interested. They got married and everything. And you lose the, you know,
Yeah.
other kids come in and different things. But
Now, your mom and dad, your mom's name was what?
my mother's name was Sylvia Zucchelli, and my father's name was Anthony Campominosi. My father, Mrs. Prelli, was my father's brother and
Sister.
and my father came to Windsor Locks because she was here. He got married with my mother, but they came here to live. And they came in, I was born 1919, they probably came up 1917. And they got a couple of rooms, and I was born at the old house, which is still there. My uncle had a store there, 24 Grove Street. And I was born in that house. They had a kitchen, she said, and a bedroom. And I was born in one of those rooms. And then we moved from there. They had a two-family house my uncle bought in the back, which is still there. It bounds, the back of it bounds the senior center.
Okay.
There's a fenced property, you know. And we lived there 14 years. And then when the Medicott sold the house on Church Street, which still remains now, just below Union School, that long block, which is Frankie Pirelli's, I think there's 5 apartments. That was our home.
Yeah, Florence DePinto used to live in that long house
That,
there. Yeah.
well, we lived there. My dad bought that house. He remodeled, it was lovely. The lady that was the superintendent of the Medicott lived in there. Beautiful stairway in it. He put in screens and did it over. And we lived there until I got married, my brother got, and my mom and dad, they passed away.
Yeah.
My brother sold it. It was our
Yeah.
home.
What did your dad do for a living?
My dad worked at C.H. Dexter's.
Okay.
Walked every morning, and he'd get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yep.
At 7 o'clock. Then he'd walk home for lunch, and then he'd come back again. But it wasn't far, Church Street to
Right around the
C.H.
corner.
Dexter's. A lot of people worked at C.H. Dexter's.
Yep.
You know, the paper mill.
Now, as you grew older then, did you know Aldo when you were growing up?
No. There was an A&P downtown,
On the corner of Church and Main?
just beyond Church and Main, on the corner of Church Street, right there in the corner. There was a building, brick building, and Kane's drugstore was there. Then in that building, there was the town clerk's office. And beyond that, there was a little, like a little shack or something. Hoisty Aslan used to work. He'd sell newspaper, it was a newsstand. Then you went up further. There was a Finest, and then they closed it. And then Mr. LaFine opened it and put a clothing store. And you went up further than that, and there was Larry's. He had the gasoline tanks, big out in the road. He sold gasoline and fixed cars.
Is it
Went on.
between Church and Spring?
Between Church and Spring Street, I'm
Yep,
talking
okay.
about. And then in there was Sisiski's Meat Market, a small Finest, Sifreto's Meat Market, and then, which was the corner building, was the bank, Windsor Locks Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Nice building. Upstairs, over it was the library, hairdressers. Up above them, went 3 floors, there was apartments. I can visualize it. You'd cross the road, which
Went to Marconi's building.
yeah, well, that didn't take it. I can't think of who was in it before. Then Wuzzy and Louie and Johnny opened up the
The luncheonette,
the luncheonette, what did they call it?
Marconi's luncheonette, and everybody called it Wuzzies.
Yeah, Wuzzies.
Yeah,
You'd go down, where they kept, if they skipped school or something, what are they, down to Wuzzies?
yeah, that's right. And that, people have called that the Masonic building.
Yeah, upstairs,
Yeah.
there was a Masonic hall.
Okay,
And up in the back was Sandy's, and you know that picture that you've got of all those men with beards and
Yeah.
everything? Upstairs over there was a hall, and they had meetings. All men, it was an Italian men's society. I still got that picture to give you back. They were upstairs,
okay.
and Sandy was downstairs in a little corner.
Now, do you remember this A&P?
This is the one Aldo worked in.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's Jimmy Riley. Don't know. No.
I think I got their names on the back on a piece of paper.
Is this downtown? It's not, because there was an A&P over in Warehouse Point like that too.
Oh,
you know?
really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
right, yeah.
Hold on, I'll get you the names I've got here.
No, but I'll tell you how I.
Jimmy Franklin on the left.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Jimmy Riley?
See, Jimmy Franklin and Jimmy Riley, they were the originals. And there wasn't that, the man for Tony Villa, he was the man on the meat counter.
Okay.
Is his name there?
Eddie A&P, near Church Street. Aslan's Newsstand.
Ashland?
He was a bookie.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say that, but,
Kane's Building, Church and Main.
yep. And the town hall was, the Kane's drugstore, and then there was the town hall.
Okay, in the A&P here you have Tony Villia,
Yeah, didn't I tell you?
manager,
Tony
Joe
Villa.
Balboni,
Yeah,
and George
Fish?
Fish,
Oh, my brother-in-law.
your brother-in-law.
He
Okay.
married my sister-in-law.
And that's,
Yeah, that was the only. Well, how you know? We moved over to Church Street, and my mother wanted red Circle coffee, and she'd say to me, "Yolanda, go down the A&P and get me a pound of Red Circle coffee." I'd go in and get the coffee. Aldo was the manager of the fruit stand
yeah,
at the A&P.
okay, so that's on the corner of Church and Main?
No, it's
No?
not. It was beyond. There was Canes,
Oh, okay,
Hoisties,
yep,
Ashlands, and then the A&P.
then the A&P.
But then they moved, they remodeled it, yeah?
Yeah, and they went up by LaRusse's Ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a finest up there too. Did anybody ever tell you that there was a little store up near St. Mary's Church on Chestnut Street?
Oh,
Was
Johnny's,
Johnny Kappa's?
Johnny Kappa's, yeah.
Yeah, that was the place that all the kids went before they went to school and bought their candy before they went to school.
Good penny
He
candy,
had
yeah.
penny candy.
Yeah.
He stayed. Well, he sold butter and bread, and
Yeah.
you know, they made a living.
Yep.
You know, he was there for a long time. I think they closed out. They opened the finest downtown, just between the bank and Sisitsky's.
Okay,
They were all, and to tell you, I was born up in the back up there, up on that hill of Main Street. I'm born on Grove Street, but then my mother and father moved there.
mhm.
And there's a picture of me overlooking the hill, which is Main Street. You can just, you know,
You have that picture?
yeah, I ain't giving it to you though. I got a diaper on, losing my
Oh.
pants and that. No way!
I don't remember getting that.
No, you didn't get it because nobody got it.
Oh, okay. Do you have it still?
I think so, if it's up in the attic and
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you had more pictures, because I took the ones that you had in here to copy, the ones of Aldo
oh
in
yeah,
front of the store and all, yeah.
oh
So
yeah.
if you've got pictures up in the attic, we'd be interested in them.
There's one of you know, little pictures of us kids, my
Sure.
mother.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm telling you. And that little store went for sale.
Joe
It was
Baracci.
Joe Baracci's, and then Mario Casangino bought it,
Mhm.
and he couldn't make a go of it. And Aldo said to me, "Gee, he said, I'd like to make a stab at it." Geez, I said, "Aldo, I know. You think it?" He said, yeah. He said to me, "You think if I asked your mother if she'd give me the money to buy this?" We weren't going to buy the building. The building belonged to Joe Baracci. We had to pay rent. He said, "For the stock, you know." I said, "Ask her." So she said, "Yeah, sure, try it," she said. And I'll never forget it. He came home and I said, "Oh, God." My brother Richard was a kid. He used to get flyers made, and he'd have my brother go around town, put the flyers at their door, and he did a good job. He carried a good line of meat, cold cuts, and we delivered. He
had a good little business going.
Yeah, he did. He worked hard.
He worked hard.
I look at him, I said, sit here, and I look at him and I said, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here.
Mm.
He gave it all he had. That guy used to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the Hartford Regional Market to pick up fruits and vegetables, to have nice stuff to put on his. We didn't have anything classy. Madeline would come in.
Yep.
And,
Madeline worked there.
He needed a floor, and he'd say to Joe, Joe, you got to put a floor in. He'd say to Madeline, "Be careful, Madeline, with your shoes. You don't get a heel caught." But it was his way, and the good products he carried. But he stayed open 6.5 days a week. We never had dinner on Sunday until 2:00, because he'd wait for them to come out of church at 12:00. They'd come in about 1:00. "Oh, what will I have for dinner, Aldo?" And he gave it a lot. He gave it a lot.
Yeah. You had to be there at Christmas time during that season.
He gave it a lot.
Store. It was fabulous. It was just he got all the imported big blocks of cheese, and
Italian. Well, a lot of the stuff he going down on Front Street. That's where, because if we didn't carry it, a lot of people would go to Hartford.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mother going and picking up her Italian cookies and candy for Christmas, for the house, and that's what he did. He built a business. He did a lot of work.
Yeah, he did.
One day, redevelopment came. We were the first ones out.
Yep.
And our store was the first one down. He said, "What am I going to do?"
It was like a couple of doors down from the senior center now. There was the senior center, it was a police station then.
Yeah.
And then there was Daniel's Apartments there. And then there was some apartments across the back.
Yeah,
And then the
Mrs.
store.
Fish and them
Yep.
over in the back over
Yep.
there. And then our store. And he said, they said to him, "Well, go out on 75. That'll be the main street. Time to come." Aldo said, "Do you realize what it costs for me to go out there?" He said, they had state laws, inspections.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I need all new showcases." And he said, "I can't make it. I can never make it." Macalusa's was out there.
Right, yeah.
And I'll never forget, Aldo took sick once, and Aldo was taking care of the school for the meats.
Mm-hmm.
That guy used to get up at 4:30 in the morning, grind all the meat.
I remember.
Oh, well, then
Yeah.
you remember.
I
My
do.
dad used to go over and help him
Yep.
roast the meat. They grind all the fresh meat that went to Union, the high school, all the schools in
Yep.
town. He made all the orders up. He'd get up early and have them all ready and bring them to North Street School, South School, the
Southwest.
high school, Southwest.
Mhm.
he did that until he died. When
Yeah.
they redevelopment, he didn't know where to go.
They used to make lunches at the schools.
Yeah,
and
the cooking.
actually cook the food there, you know.
But
Oh,
the,
okay.
all
So
the
pretty nice.
hamburg
Yeah.
came from
From the Oak
the
Street Market.
market.
Wow.
It was government meat that they got.
Mm-hmm.
They'd bring it to us, and we'd grind it, and he'd pack it all. Fresh ground
Oh, I
hamburger.
used to help with that, grinding it all up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that guy over there, boy. And then he got let go. He was 60-some. Jobs were hard to get.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go? Jimmy Franklin, first guy hired him when he went to high school. He used to go to high school, and when he got out at 3 o'clock, he'd go to the A&P downtown under Jimmy Franklin, peck potatoes. I don't know what he'd say he'd get for pecking potatoes. Then he got a job, you know.
Yeah, and he worked
And
for
that-
Coca-Cola for a while.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
he worked for Coca-Cola. Yep. He got married, we worked for Coca-Cola.
Now, did he, until you guys got married, did he always live up there on Suffield Street
Yeah,
with his dad?
where his dad is now.
Okay, and you told me back during the Depression when Aldo's dad lost his job, all Aldo and his sisters all delivered newspapers. They'd get up
Oh,
at 4 o'clock
yeah,
in the morning.
oh, yeah. I was going with them.
Uh-huh.
They used to have, the express would come in down at the railroad and throw off the newspaper, the New York Times and everything. Then the sisters and he and brother, the father had a truck. They'd sort the papers and they delivered Windsor Locks, Suffield, all around. They'd go out 4:30 in the morning. They didn't get in until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what helped them save, because they were going to lose their house.
Yep.
They had a mortgage on it and they couldn't pay. The Depression. And it helped them save the house.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the police force in town back when you were growing up?
All I can remember, Chief Hayden. Did you ever hear him?
No.
No. Yeah. And, oh God. He was the night, he had a son that lived, Caffrey. Caffrey was the night a policeman. Yeah.
Is that Mike Caffrey's dad?
His father.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about that?
Yeah. And his father was a big man just like Mike.
Yeah.
He died, that fella, yeah.
Mike-
He had two sisters.
Yes.
He had sister Julia and Mary. Mary worked in the office at Horton's on the canal bank. It was a little factory. It was a machine shop.
Yes.
I think she worked. And Julia worked at C.H. Dexter's. They had a room. They used to call it the finishing room. I remember my father worked there 48 years at C.H. Dexter's.
Wow.
And Julia used to work in the finishing room. She was a big girl.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, my father couldn't say any wrong about C.H. Dexter's.
Oh, yeah.
They gave him a job, and they were
They
were good to the town.
Yes, they were.
I can tell you, because I belong to the senior center. They remodeled that kitchen twice.
Mm.
But then they sold out, and the kids left, and they didn't have the interest like there was the old Dexter, then there was the junior Dexter, and then there were the kids, until when the kids got hold of it, well, they moved to Suffield, up on Hill Street.
Yeah.
And, but they were good to the town. They did that center kitchen twice. They remodeled it.
Now, when you used to travel to Hartford by train, you'd go down to the train station, right?
Yeah. I told you, I asked you if they're going to leave the train station. To me, there's a lot of memories to the train station. A bunch of girls, me, Pastari, Jicapassi, and everything. We could go to New York on the excursion for $3. That was down to New York and back again. And we'd make plans. Either we were going to go out to dinner or we were going to take in a show. Well, taking the show, you had to get the tickets in advance. And I think the train left at 7:30 Sunday morning. We get on, no air condition. If you got hot, you lift the windows up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you got off the train, you didn't know whether you got all the coal dust, soot. You'd wipe yourself down. We'd go down, and then you'd go to Grand Central. Well, we'd get back into Windsor Locks at 11:30 at night. Yeah, but we had them all for $3.
Mm.
You try going to New York and back again for $3.
Not gonna happen, no.
Yeah, of course you ate and you went to show or you was it day, and the fellows used to go if there was a game at Yankee Stadium or anything. That's how they go down on the excursion. You'd get the train, and most people didn't have a car. The people that worked in the insurance companies in Hartford there was a 7:30 train and 8:30 train. And at night, at 5 o'clock and about 5:45, it'd come back at night. And they'd leave the cars down. There was room. There was a freight house up above. They did away with it. But into they'd leave, if they had cars. Otherwise, you walked down.
Mm.
And then some people, if they had a car, they'd take passengers, but a lot of people went by train to work. They must have got a bus after when they got in the city because, the train station up on the hill to go to the insurance companies, travelers, they had to hike it from there.
From
uptown,
Union Street up to
uptown,
Main, yeah.
Man, quite a walk.
In the winter especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even going up on the hill,
Mm-hmm. Now, you were telling me the other day that you carved your initials in the
Well,
ladies' room.
I asked you, used to go down there and use it. I remember the frosted glass windows, big windows,
Mm-hmm.
frosted. And we'd go down there there were the benches and all, and and we'd go in, and I swore everybody, initials on, and I swore I put my YC. I said, did they ever paint that over? I wonder, because I hadn't.
Well, we're going to find out pretty soon.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, I'm going to look now that you've...
So what are they going to do? Leave it there now? The only feeling I had when they wanted to bring it down where the other station is, I said, why are they taking it away from there, going to move it? That's the original place. That's where everybody would run, in the morning. Mm-hmm. They had to move. The train was coming. Yeah. The train, he'd say, come on. But if you didn't make it, you got left behind, or you took the bus into the city.
Yeah. No, it's going to stay where it is. That's the plan. What they're talking about doing is moving the platform from down by the highway back up to here.
Oh, so that sounds, yeah. Well, there was a lot of dispute over it, from what I could see in the paper.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while.
Why? Yeah, they finally settled it, huh?
Well, it's almost settled. It's a lot of things involved.
Yeah, that's the original station.
Yeah, that's the original station. Yeah, and that's what we want.
And there used to be a freight house up above.
Yep, just north of it. And,
did they throw all that down?
No, that burned down.
Oh, it burned down.
Yeah, back in the 70s. First, it got knocked down by the hurricane in '38, and they rebuilt it, and then it burned down. I was watching it with my son when it caught fire.
And then right in where the railroad station is, just up here in the corner, there was an express office. And the last express office I remember was Fournier's Express. Now, there was a Fournier boy that used to live up on James Street. I don't know what his name was. They had an express office there.
Well, we know Bill Fournier, I guess we...
Bill Fournier. Then he must be a son there. He's tied in there. It was his father. Right there in the corner.
We'll ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, some time ago, Aldo sponsored a fellow from Italy.
Oh, Giulio Getzi.
Giulio Getzi. they used to come in the store every Friday night.
Yeah.
Julio, his wife,
Yeah.
and their daughter, Orietta. Every Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
6:30, 7 o'clock or
Yeah,
something?
he worked for
Corando?
a sausage company in Springfield, Carandos.
Corandos, yeah.
And his wife got a job at G. Fox's, and she was a seamstress.
Yep.
And she used to make drapes and everything. And then there was daughter Ariella.
Mm.
And she couldn't speak English when she was a little tot, because I remember her coming in. She went to grammar school at St. Mary's, went to Windsor Locks High,
Yep.
and then she graduated from Bay Path.
Her name is Hawkins now,
Yeah, she lives out in
Windsor.
Windsor, yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw her anymore.
Yeah, I've
Have
spoken
you?
to her, I haven't
Oh,
seen her in
yeah?
a while, yeah.
Yeah, she had, I talked to her father.
Mhm.
You ever see Julia?
I don't see him, I'd like
I'll
to.
I'll tell you, he must be 86, 87, but well preserved,
Yeah.
lives alone. He lives up on
Woodland,
Woodland Street.
Yeah.
That's where, you remember Tom Dow
yes.
that
Yeah.
used to come in the store? He had a brother that lived up that way. He was if Aldo, he got an order and he didn't have anything in the store. Hey, Tom, you want to go downtown and get it for me?
Tom would go
Yeah,
down and get
give
it.
me the money. I'll go.
Now, Tom had a store on Spring Street,
Spring Street.
where the Windsor Locks Journal ended up.
Yeah, yeah.
he
There
had-
was a little bit of store.
Yeah.
Wallace's
Yeah.
owned it.
Yeah.
But Tom worked for them.
Yeah.
And I think his brother Hunt worked there too.
Uh-huh.
And then when the cars came in, I think they got a little truck, a little car, and special customers, they deliver.
Mm.
And that gets me. We delivered. We never charged nothing.
Mm.
You were lucky. You were happy to get the customers
Yeah.
to come to you. I'd answer the phone. I'd take the order. I'd put it up. I'd get it ready for the kids from the high school. What boy would, and he'd take it. He'd deliver it. You go get anything over to Geisler's now and have them deliver it. It's $20 fee.
Wow. Huh. Hey, do you remember Lucy Quagg up here on Elm Street?
Yes,
Lived
and
there
her
with her
sister.
sister?
Yeah.
What was her sister's name?
Gee, I'd have to ask Bobby, because he used to deliver. He knew them good.
Yeah.
They were two sisters.
I
They
deliver
were-
there all the time,
yeah.
yeah.
Very nice girls.
Yeah, yeah. They'd get into a little bit of a tiff every now and again over something got ordered that was wrong.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit, but.
You
it
never
was-
had anybody,
It was over as soon as it started.
you didn't ever have anybody that would take the cheese or a piece of meat and weigh it on the scale and see if they got the right. That's what we had to put up with.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You cheated me, Aldo. What did I do? I weighed the cheese on my scale. It's not right. Your scale's not right. I'll never forget. You remember Joe Holleran?
Yes, I knew Joe Holleran, yep. The insurance
What?
man.
Yeah. Poor Joe. He liked good meat and everything. He ordered a turkey from Aldo for Christmas. And the phone rang Christmas Eve, and it was Joe. He wanted to talk to Aldo. I said, okay. Okay, Joe. He said, I don't know if I got one that size, but you go down to the store and I'll go down, I'll meet you. He said he got a turkey with cancer, So Aldo said, and Aldo always said to me, the customer is always right. You're laughing.
That's the way he was.
Yes, he
Yes.
was. The customer is. I'd like to go and tell. I could talk to him now. I'd say you're crazy. They ain't like that no more.
Mm.
So he said to Joe, "I'll meet you down the store. I'll be down. If I got a turkey, I'll give you what I got." He brought the turkey down. And he looked at it. Well, it was a turkey that must have bumped himself or something, and on the hip or the thigh, it had big black and blue marks.
Bruce, yeah.
Bruce. And that happens, Aldo said, when they got him in the coops or whatever. So he said, Joe, he said, I don't know if I got one the right size. Well, they fixed it up anyhow. But he got up and went down the store and Christmas Eve. He said, you come down. He said, if I got one, I'll swap it. It's cancerous.
What year did he open the market? Was it 57?
57?
Was it?
Oh, no, it was older.
Sooner than that?
Earlier than that. He was having he was tired of Coca-Cola. It was a tough job.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go, he wanted to go into business, work for myself. And I can't remember, but we were in business quite a long time.
Now,
We never had heat in the building. Remember the little the stove in the middle of the store?
that was gone when I got there. He had a
Then he got a
heater
gas.
hanging-
He got a
gas
gas
heater,
heater.
Yeah.
But he had a stove.
Now, when Joe Paracci ran that, he actually ran that as a slaughterhouse, I think.
He
didn't
used to slaughter
Yeah.
his veal. That's how veal. And I don't know if he did. Yeah, he must have did beef too.
Yeah, because he
and
had
then
that
he-
concrete slab out the back door there,
Yeah.
and I think that's where he must have done that.
But when Aldo went in, a state inspection, no more,
No
none
more,
of that.
yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. And he'd get the word. They'd write to him and say, "We're coming for state inspection."
Yeah.
But if you remember, Saturday nights when he was finished, he rubbed down the
Stripped everything down and washed
stripped
it.
down all the meat grinders
Yeah.
and
Everything.
and the tables and everything. And he never ground anything out. Everything was ground in the refrigerator.
Now, we were talking about Giulio Ghezzi a little while ago, and he wanted to come over and he needed a sponsor, right?
Yes, yeah,
And Olga was already here,
yeah.
his wife.
And how that took place, my aunt, Mary Barberi, my father's sister, lived next to Giulio's sister down on South Center Street. And he needed a sponsor. And she said to my aunt, do you think that Aldo would sponsor my brother? Because he was a sausage maker. And with the thinking that he was going to make the sausage in the store. And Aldo said, yeah. In fact, on the boat that they came over, they brought me a dish, something to give me. And Aldo sponsored him. But he went and he got a job at Carando's.
Mhm.
He stayed at Carando. He was up there. He was a real sausage.
Yeah.
We used to buy from them sausage and salami, Italian cold cuts that they made.
And there was a big heavy guy that used to deliver it.
Oh, Piemonte.
Piemonte.
And Aldo's Piemonte.
Yeah.
And he used to bring us. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was from East Hartford.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Aldo.
And all the guys from Louis Beef, I remember them.
Oh, yeah. They were good to us.
Yeah.
Louis beef. Aldo carried grade 1 beef. Louis beefs, they were good.
You have any questions that you're...
Yeah, what do you remember about the hurricane of 38?
38.
38. Yeah, the hurricane of 38, we lived over on Church Street. And there were 3 or 4 trees between Frankie Quagliaroli and my father. There was a Union School. You came down with Frankie's garden, Frankie's long 5-room apartment house, and a lot in between in our house. And my father had 3 or 4 trees. And they all went over onto Frankie's house.
Mm.
That just, I had to have 2 trees. 3 cost me almost $3,000
Yeah,
to get the
just
tree
recently
down.
here, yeah.
And I had someone that is related to the Lanatis. Are you related to Lanati?
Yes, yep, that
Yeah.
was my cousin.
And how I got them was the fellow that cuts my lawn said he knows his son is friendly with a Lanati boy that his mother and father live out on North Street.
Yes.
And I got the telephone number and I called them and I said, have you got a son? They said yes. And I said, I was recommended by this fellow from Enfield. Oh yeah. And the fellow came down and he is a real tree surgeon. And he came down and he took in one day, he had 3 fellows and himself. They took the 3 trees down, all cut and everything. They hadn't cleaned up. And they took the trees down.
Hmm.
But the insurance company didn't give me nothing because I didn't get, when I paid, I had to pay myself. I had a homeowners.
Now, they've always got a loophole on those.
Oh, yeah, Carrillo, I got it in. You'd see Charlie Carrillo and Aldo were friendly.
Yeah.
Aldo had the store, and right down at the bottom of the store, LaRusso's years back was there. Carrillo brought his office down. Marie worked there and everything.
Yep.
And Aldo and him, and we were insured. But then Charlie died, and his son Jared, he's not like, well, he's the younger generation.
And it's his grandson. That's actually his grandson. Because David Carrillo ran it for a long time, Carrillo's Insurance. Jared is Charlie's grandson.
Oh, it's Charlie's grandson.
Yeah. Yep.
He's not like like Charlie.
No, he's just big like Charlie, big and tall.
Yeah,
Charlie's a tall
yeah.
guy. Yeah.
But the Lanatis, I only talked to the mother on the phone, and she gave me the son's number. And I thought he lived in town. He lives in Windsor.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, he was very nice.
Now, do you remember anybody famous coming to Windsor Locks back when we had a Main Street?
Famous. No, why? Do you have
Did
some?
Eisenhower come through here?
Who?
Eisenhower? I'm thinking
Oh,
somebody
oh.
told me that.
I don't know. I don't remember. What else? Did you got something else there?
Let's see. Did they use the canal when you were growing up? Was there boats going through?
No. The only thing that the first week of August, they still do it. They let the canal down and they clean it. Because C.H. Dexter's used the canal to power. But then, and then they, C.H. Dexter's used to let some stuff go down the river. They got fined a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
That's all.
Oh, you're laughing. It was in the papers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But that canal gave from what I remember, the canal gave a lot of power to the factories to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anymore.
No,
It doesn't smell anymore, and
No,
neither does the river.
they've really cleaned it up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well, after C.H. Dexter's, it was chemicals that they were letting out,
Yeah.
and they got to them a couple of times. They
Yeah.
were fined, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, all the turbines they had down there for electricity, I don't think, back when electricity was cheap, it was cheaper for them to get off of the turbines and go on to the regular public electrical grid,
Yeah.
you know? And they didn't have to maintain the turbines or any of
Yeah.
that stuff anymore, so, but they're talking about, kind of
But
bringing
C.H.
that back, because it's there.
C.H. Dexter's was very, very good to the town,
Yeah.
like for baseball, and
Mm.
they always, well, to the kitchen over at the senior center. The first one, they remodeled the whole thing, stainless steel and everything. Yeah. But that was the older ones. Then they had their sons and the generation, you know,
Okay.
and then they did it again. But now they're gone out of town.
Mm.
That was beautiful property in there. From the church right up to almost church. Well, no, there was a couple of buildings. Beautiful lawns. They had caretakers, and the houses were well. The convalescent home is still one of the old of the C.H. Dexter house, but the big house, the brick house where the old man Dexter lived, because it was his son and his grandson. God, oh, they had girls, maids, and girls from town. Madeline DePinto worked for them for years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
When I saw Florence DePinto, I went to see her over, and she's over in Chestnut.
Yeah. How is she?
She looked good when I was there to see her. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Is
comfortable.
this quite a few years?
Year before last.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I took her that same picture
Yeah.
of the Italian club, and she
didn't-
picked her father
I
right out.
told you.
Yeah.
That's the only man I reckon. That's and that, you know where that hall, it was up over. There was Wuzzy's, that brick building.
Mhm.
Then there was a wooden building. Sandy had his barber shop,
Yep.
and Frankie Pastori had dry cleaners.
Okay.
But upstairs there was a hall, and it was the Italian American Society.
Okay.
I think that, and they used to have a lot of showers, women, up in that hall.
Mm.
And then next there used to be the Windsor Locks Bakery, which was Tambusi's, which was Ella Grasso's father's
Yep.
baker shop.
Now, is this before they made the Italian Progressive Club up on Southfield Street?
No, I
No?
think that's the Italian American. This must have been the society. That Italian American club is up, the one up on Suffield Street.
Mm.
But there's one down on
On Center is the
It's
Italian American Club.
Club. The one up there, the Italian Progressive.
Progressive Club, yeah.
Is it still in existence?
Yeah.
Because Angelo Alfano worked up there for years,
Hmm.
being bartender at night.
And the Progressive Club.
Yeah, when he started to give up his dry cleaning.
Now, I'm going to show you that picture of Cully's Meat Market.
Where
Because
wa-
Kevin was asking if I knew.
where was that?
Well, I'm just going to ask him and have
Yeah,
him look at it.
that's Francis Cully's father's. It was up on North Main Street, I think. It's long before I.
This one.
I think this is over. Where did they tell you it was on Oak Street?
Well, you told me it was on Oak Street, but I was looking for this building in all the old photographs I've seen to get some kind of an idea of where it is. But I did see in your dad's book that it was Cully and Barberi on the corner of Spring and Main that had a meat market.
Oh, then I don't know.
Not sure? That's not ringing a bell for you?
The house looks familiar.
Mm.
Looks like Oak Street.
The first time you saw it, you said it to me.
Yeah, to me, it looks like the house that, you know where Steiger's?
Yes.
There was a house there that looked like that.
Okay. Just
And
below Steiger's?
Just below Steiger's.
Okay.
And then there was another one. It was a brick house right next to it. It was Marcellini's,
Okay.
Francis Marcellini's. It was a two-family house.
Well, that could be a two-family right there.
Yeah.
But this is coming down this way.
You don't have anything about Prully's store over on Grove Street? My
No.
uncle, you haven't got nothing on it.
I don't.
No, he you know, I don't know if he knows because he's a little bit younger than I am. Danny Danluck is related. His mother, no,
Mickey Danluck?
Mickey Danluck's grandmother, and my Uncle Prully, she was his niece.
All right.
See, Nicky Danluck. What's his last name? Danluck.
Danluck.
Mickey's
got his mother picking out
His mother is a Prully. She
Okay.
married a Danluck. That's how the name
Okay.
Danluck went. Yeah. But my Uncle Prolly had a store over on Grove Street. We lived at 18. I think it was 24 Grove. He used to make salami. You didn't get nothing?
I don't have anything on that.
No, nobody.
We're trying to dig all this stuff out. You know who I went after was Rose Baracci.
Yeah,
And she said she's got stuff, but I haven't followed up on it.
yeah, she must have a lot of it.
Yeah, she said she did.
Yeah, she's got, because her father was the one that, he used to go slaughter the
Yep.
calves but Prelly's over there. My Uncle Prelly used to make salamis and ship them from here. He'd get orders out of New York and ship them down to New York.
Mm.
Oh, a real sausage maker. And they had a little store right there. The old house is still there. That like Cy Prelly, Charlie Prelly, you never had nothing to do with him. He married Esther Montemerlo. He lived down here on, just down here on Elm Street. Cy Prelly.
Oh, Cy, yeah.
Yeah, well,
On the
Cy.
finance board?
Yeah, his father was a sausage maker.
Okay.
And his mother's my father's sister.
Okay.
And do you know Bobby Barberi that married Ann Christian from Suffield?
I do not know. No.
No. Well, his mother was my father's sister. My father there were 2 sisters and 2 brothers that came here.
Okay.
See, my aunt came up from New York. She married my Uncle Prelly, came up. And then she sent for the sister and she came up. Then my father came and his brother came. My mother came. She has nobody here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how.
And then you had 2 brothers, Francis and Richard.
Richard, yeah.
Yeah.
And they both worked in the store.
Yeah.
And we first bought the store. I can remember my brother Richard going. Aldo got the flyers and going and sending Richard around, going to the houses and throwing the flyers at the door, you know.
Yep.
Oh boy. He's shaking his head. Tell me, the 2 Lunati girls from Whiten Street.
Yep.
All right. What are they to you?
Well, there's Donna and Diane. They were twins. Donna is my aunt. Diane is my mother. Because there was Danny. He was the older brother. And then there was the twin girls, Donna and Diane. So Diane is my mom.
Is your father one of the cops who used to be on the police force?
No, my father, he grew up in Rockville.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of a different Lunati.
Nope, you're thinking of my grandfather.
Oh, I remember the old man, Lunati.
Patsy?
No, I'm 93, so I can remember the old grandma. She was a big, stocky woman, and the grandfather, he was a big, husky man. Off of Whiten Street they lived.
Yep.
And they had 2 girls, Lunati girls. Jesus, he died. Helen O'Fannell's brother, Georgie Cully, and all them were the Whiten Street bunch. They were. But one of the Lunati fellas became a cop. He lives up on Suffield Street, I think.
Yeah, that was my grandfather, Patsy.
That's your grandpa. Well, I still knew the old one over that one, the big stocky man. Grandpa.
My great-grandfather.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the one. And the grandma, she was a big stocky woman. She was, she would have been your grandmother then.
Great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Well, you know, I'm 93, you know,
I know.
I say to myself, Jesus.
I worked at the Oak Street Market as a kid, and I'm 67 now.
Yeah, you know, you don't realize it.
You don't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My grandmother was a Casa Grande.
Yeah.
She was from Stafford. and then she met my grandfather, Patsy. They lived on Whiten Street for a little while, and then they moved to Suffield Street. He was a police officer, and then he worked at Dexter's for
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
quite a
There's
long
no
time.
more Lenatis on the police force then?
No, but I'm the police commissioner.
Oh, what? Of Windsor Locks?
Yep, I got voted in November.
Where do you live?
I live over on Ravine Street, which is right off of North Main. Right across the street from Olive Street.
Oh, for God's sake.
But his last name is Brace, not Lenati.
It's what?
Brace.
Brace?
Yeah, his mother's a Lenati.
Oh.
His father's name was Brace.
And how about this woman that I called up on North Street for her son to come and cut the trees down?
She's my aunt.
She's your aunt. She's
Yep.
a Lenati.
Yes.
Yeah, because I looked it up in the phone book, you know.
Yep. Actually, she married my uncle. My uncle's the Lenati.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, for
Daniel.
God.
He used to be a police officer too.
Yeah, I knew that, you know, that there was Lenatis on the police force.
Yep. Yeah. Even Eddie Lenati. Ed Lenati.
Yeah, he's one that, you know, did you ever think of grabbing him? He must have a, let's see, he's my brother Francis's age. He must be, oh, my brother Francis, no. My
Yeah, he's in his 80s. He's up there.
If I'm 93, my brother was born 2 years after my brother would have been. If he was living, he'd be in his 90s.
Mm.
Because it was 2 years different.
Now, you
But-
have a friend of yours you told me to talk to, too. Who's
Who?
a gal that you travel with here to the store and everything? Friend of yours? You gave me her name once, and
Ida Jigapassi.
Ida Jigapaski.
Oh, well, she's gone. They're all, there's a family, there were 7 of them. I was thinking the other day, they're all gone. All,
Oh,
Yeah. Dave was Dave
David
her brother.
David Jigapassi was a brother.
Now,
And Paulie Jigapassi was a brother. Ida and Teresa and Margaret Rajo.
right now, Dave. He lived on Burnap.
Yeah.
I lived right behind him growing
Oh.
up. Yeah, I remember him very well. He was a really nice guy.
His wife is still living.
Bertha.
Bertha, because I meet her over to the market. Oh, excuse me, at Geisler's,
Yep.
and I talked to her.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I still live behind her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I see her.
I see her outside once in a while.
Yeah,
I wave.
yeah. Oh God,
now I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to
what?
talk to Anne Marie.
Yeah.
And I want to see about getting these photos out of the attic. Okay.
I don't know how many photos you think I got up there.
Well, even if there's just a few, it'd be good. Ray LaRussa just gave me a whole stack of them, and I've been scanning them with his
Ray
dad's store.
LaRussa?
Ray, yeah, Dominic LaRussa's boy. Remember LaRussa's appliance store?
The store.
Yeah,
They had 2 sons.
yeah, yeah. The
They-
youngest one is Ray. He's my age.
Where does he live, in town?
Yep, he lives down off of Center Street, South Center.
Who did he marry? He married
He
town.
married Ann Jackson, but they're not together anymore.
Oh, I knew that. But there was another brother too.
Yeah, he passed away, the older brother.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, there was the 2 boys in the family.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Dom passed away. He was a young man when he died
Don. Yeah, they opened up downtown
downtown.
for radios and different things.
Yep.
And then they came over on the corner of Oak. They had a place there for a while.
Yes, yep. And then I got a picture of that store.
Oh.
And the whole crowd of people waiting for Santa Claus to come through town.
What store?
LaRussa's right on the corner of Oak, right next to the A&P. And Santa Claus was Freddie Barberi.
Oh God, is he gone?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Freddie's my age. We went to school
Yeah,
together.
yeah, I think he passed away some time ago. And he was Santa Claus in 1948. And they got a bunch of pictures out behind the town hall down there in the high school baseball field and all that stuff. And the helicopter they brought in and everything. Bunches of them. LaRussa's pickup truck with the,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Really nice, nice photos. And you know who I'm gonna be talking to?
Who?
As soon as I call him up and get him on the phone, Billy Stone.
He should have.
His boys, I talked to his boys
Where does
already.
he live?
He's in Simsbury now.
Oh, I see a lot of them lived. Yeah, his father ran the bus.
Yeah.
The buses for the town.
That's what we want is pictures of the bus garage. And I talked to his son, Kevin, he lives up in New Hampshire. And he said that he and his brother will have all of the photos. So I put them on Jerry Doherty's website, and they saw all the old Main Street things. So he got a bang out of that. So
Yeah,
that's
they had the buses
Yeah.
up there on. They ride the buses for the town
Yeah.
for years.
yeah. How do you figure behind that house there on the corner of Oak and Center, and they had a bus garage and all the buses parked in there and everything?
Yeah, they had buses. And they did it for years.
Yeah, and I located him because I was down in the town hall waiting for the train station meeting to start, and I was down, they have that Athletes Wall of Fame there, and I've been asking people for a couple of years now, does anybody know where Billy Stone is? And nobody knew. And I'm reading the plaques down there, down the end, there he is, Billy Stone. And he used to teach at Suffield Academy.
You're kidding.
No. So the next day I called Suffield Academy, and I said, I'm looking for Billy Stone. I think he's an alumni, and he used to be a teacher there or whatever. And she referred me to the archives office, gave me the woman's email address, and I sent her an email, and I said, I'm looking for Billy Stone, and I'm from Windsor Locks, and the bus I used to ride on was a 1939 International. The bus driver's name was Mary, and it was bus number 3. And I want to talk to
Who
her.
was the woman?
I don't know her last name, but I'll be finding out soon. Her first name was Mary, and she drove bus number 3. So the alumni office sent messages out to Billy's 2 sons, and the one in New Hampshire.
Hey, where does he live, Billy?
Billy's in Simsbury.
Oh, yeah.
And so Kevin called me from.
He was a popular kid in town. You
Oh
know.
yes, gosh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I'll tell you another story about that. But he said that he's doing okay, but he's not doing okay.
Yeah,
You know.
okay.
And so he says it's kind of hard to get on the phone.
He's my brother Richard's age.
Yeah, yeah. And
They went to school together, grammar school at St. Mary's, I think.
I moved here in 1955 in August. So then the next year, which would have been 1956, I would have been 11. And I went to my first 4-H fair up on the corner of Spring Street and Route 75. Remember the big field? They had the 4-H fair up there every year. And so I was up there, and I walked in, I was by myself, and there's Gordon Hayes. Remember the guy from Suffield with the Trick Horse Show?
The dark,
Yeah,
the black guy.
Yeah, black guy.
Yeah.
And he was there, and he had a palomino, and he was making that horse sit down,
Yeah.
just like a
I
dog
just
sits.
know the Hayeses, that they were the colored people from Suffield. I never had nothing, but you know,
Yeah.
with a name. You
Yeah,
know.
everybody kind of knew him. And he was making a horse sit down just like a dog, and a woman had the first Polaroid cameras that were coming out, taking a picture of it. So I'm going around looking at the 4-H fair, and being from Hartford, I'd never seen any of this stuff, you know, and a little while later I see Gordon Hayes is standing there, and he's holding the reins of a pinto horse, you know. And so I went up to him and I said, hey mister, do you want me to exercise your horse? And he looked at me, and I figured he'd probably tell me to get lost, but he says, yeah, he says, that's just what I need. He said, he picked me up and he threw me up in a saddle. I couldn't reach the stirrups or nothing. He gives me the reins, and he says, you see that fence way down the end of the field, way down there? I said, yeah. He said, you take them, walk them all the way down there, give them some good exercise. That's what I need you to do. I said, okay. Well, I couldn't believe my luck, you know. This guy actually let me take his horse. But you know what? That was Billy Stone's horse.
Uh-huh.
And they were just about to have an event where Gordon's daughter would be competing against Billy Stone. And I'm all the way down the field with Billy Stone's horse on it. The next thing I know, I could hear somebody yelling. And it's Billy Stone running down the field. He was mad, boy. He said, get off my horse, you know.
You know, I'm thinking, you know the mill pond down here?
Yeah.
That was nice. And then Dexter's put up the powerhouse there.
Yes.
That was what the hell they doing that? Nice corner. There was a mill pond, you know. And in the winter, they'd let that freeze over
Yep.
for ice. But it had to be thick. And they used to skate there
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I said, Dad, In comes the drugstore, and I thought, oh Jesus, what? I didn't think the people were too happy, that they would keep it, but they keep it clean.
Mhm.
There's no paper flying around.
Yeah.
And I say, there were some nice spots in town. Well, do you remember? The paper is over here. I gotta get it. So, the Windsor Locks Journal used to every week cabbages and kinks
Yes.
and the paper. So we got written up one night. Aldo got written up.
Mm.
Somebody came here. I don't know who was that did the writing.